Hey out there, everybody. So I got up this morning. It's Sunday morning out here in Utah. Jennifer and I are flying back home this afternoon. But I got up this morning and I was rocking this pretty sweet hairdo. And I was thinking that, you know, probably the two most common requests I've had in the week or two I've been making videos has been more of the morning hair and for me to talk about my weight loss journey. So I figured two birds with one stone. Let's sit down and show off my do and talk about my weight loss journey, which is like hard for me to say without laughing, because never in my life have I ever pictured myself as a person who would have like useful advice to give about a weight loss journey. Never would I have thought of myself as someone who's actually been on one. I've never, well, I was 10 pounds half an ounce when I was born. So we'll start there. Big baby, barrel-chested. Jennifer says I'm big boned, but she means it in a very nice way. I've always been a bit on the bigger side. There was like, you know, maybe a couple months when I was 17 when I was not overweight. I was never skinny or super fit. Was always very well built to play football. But yeah, you know, briefly in senior year of high school, maybe I was not too overweight, but then college, I drank a lot. In college, probably put on 20 pounds in the first 6 months or whatever. And then for the next, you know, the last 10 years, when I was working really hard, I just didn't have any energy at all to eat well or to exercise or to even think about it. And, you know, there's probably made 4 or 5 attempts, you know, in my post-college life to be like, all right, darn it, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to eat a little better. You know, and I can exercise like 5 days in a row and then not again for a year, basically, is what would happen. So, you know, that, I guess, just a little background on where I was, you know, well, and actually, so I tried a different diet, what is this, 2013, so at the end of 2011, I tried this 4-hour body diet. Can't think of the guy's name right now, like Tim something. 4-hour body. It's all about no carbs, no dairy, eat a lot of beans, and it's very, you know, very restrictive for 6 days a week. And then he's like, then you have a binge day and go crazy and nothing bad can happen even if you eat 10,000 calories in a day. Just start with some grape juice and grapefruit juice, apparently, is what you have to do. So I tried that and I lost like maybe, I lost at least 15, maybe 20 pounds over a few months. I tried it at the end of 2011, but it just wasn't sustainable. After the holidays, I could never get back on it in 2012. And the binge day was just terrible. I couldn't go 6 days without eating any bread or any dairy and then have a day where I could eat whatever I want. I mean, I would have several donuts and cheeseburgers and hot dogs and french fries and pasta and sandwiches and bread and everything. And like, it just didn't, I don't know, it didn't make any sense. But, you know, as I'm getting a little older, I started to find a little more motivation. That obviously wasn't the system for me, but then, you know, towards the end of 2012, I was regaining that motivation. I wanted to try again. And that really, I think, if I'm going to pick just one success factor for weight loss, you've got to want it. You know, you got to find your own reason, your own motivation inside, or why do you care? What's gonna? It's because it's not easy to have discipline. You have to continuously make decisions differently than you would in a natural way. And you know, it's tough in modern society, right? Like the evolutionary biology is working against us here. Our bodies are the chemical response in our bodies is conditioned to get us to consume stuff. Overconsumption has a much greater fitness advantage than underconsumption in an environment where resources are scarce. So you really have to use your mind to override what your kind of natural instincts are going to tell you to do. Oh, fat is delicious, give me more fat. No, how is it going to make you feel in a couple hours, you know? So, you know, honestly, that's one of the motivations, is realizing that you actually feel better when you eat better. But for me, the motivation is my golf game. I just want to get better. The handicap is down to like about 5. It was as low as 3.5 for a minute there last season. That's as low as it's ever been. And I just want to be able to practice without my back hurting. That's really the big thing. If I putt, you know, now it's a little better, but last year if I tried to practice putting for 10-15 minutes, my lower back starts hurting so bad I can't do it. Forget about hitting balls on the range for an hour. And I just want to have that core strength. I have no core strength. I've got a little bit now. I've been exercising a bit more, but coming from 0. And that's where all the stability and the power comes from in the golf swing. So, you know, for me, that's the big driving force is like, you know, and I wanted to be about, I was hoping to be 20 pounds lighter than I am right now at the beginning of golf season, which is about now. Still terrible weather in Chicago, but I'm hoping when we get back this week, maybe I'll play some golf. But yeah, where was I going with that? I dropped about 35 pounds. I was at 267, which was hard for me to believe that my weight got that high. I mean, I haven't been under 200 in as long as I can remember, but 267, geez. But I got it, you know, down to about 230, so I've been down about 35 pounds. I really want to get down to 210. And it's been a couple months I've been stuck in this. I hit 229 one day, hit 237 after my friend's bachelor party. We had some long weekends, but it's been, you know, for a couple months I've been kind of plateauing. I probably haven't been quite as disciplined as I was before, but I have a formula now, and I think that I think I'm going to be able to get there. And what's the formula? You know, for me, Weight Watchers was huge. I mentioned I tried the 4-hour body diet. Not effective for me. Weight Watchers was the perfect system for me. Now, actually, I let my Weight Watchers subscription lapse because after 3 months of putting everything I eat into their app on my phone or on the internet and calculating the points and, you know, keeping track of those numbers, sort of internalized the system. I've got a pretty good internal clock of, you know, at the end of the day, did I make eating decisions where I'm a couple points under my daily allotment, right at it, or right over it? And what was amazing to me was how accurate that Weight Watchers system, how accurate was the calibration of the Weight Watchers system. You know, they assign all foods a point value, so they have, you know, in their app, a lot of common restaurants and prepared grocery store foods that you'll buy are in there already. But there's also, you know, they also just have like oil and eggs or whatever, so you can calculate your own recipes, or you can just put in the nutritional facts on the package of something that you're eating, and they'll tell you how many points it is. It's based on fat, calories, protein, and fiber. I'm sorry, fat, calories. It's not calories. Fat, protein, fiber. It's based on fat, carbs, protein, and fiber. So something with a given amount of fat and carbs actually will be fewer points if it has some fiber in it, because that's good for you and helps your body, I don't know, some kind of biological stuff. Fiber's good. Fat, carbs, bad. Protein, okay, in moderation. I think I started with 59 points a day, and it was just immediately clear. If I eat 55 points in a day, I'm losing weight. If I eat exactly 59, I'm going to lose a small amount of weight. If I eat 65 points, I'm gonna gain a little weight. It was just amazing how well calibrated it was. The way they do it is you have a daily allotment, and you also have a weekly kind of bonus spillover that you can use whenever you want. So I would have like 59 points a day and then 49 points a week that I could spend however I wanted. And pretty much for me, those are always Friday, Saturday points. During the work week, it's a lot easier for me to make better eating decisions. You know, I'm busy at work, not sitting around the house. Eating when I'm bored is definitely something I have to deal with. But then, yeah, Friday, Saturday, going out to dinner, have a steak, that's when I would use those points. And the other thing that the Weight Watchers program does is they take points away from you as you lose weight. Well, because it's based on what your weight is. Like someone who weighs 170 pounds, who thinks they should weigh 150 pounds, they're never going to get 59 points in a day. You're going to start with like 35 points or something crazy. But it really, what the Weight Watcher system did was two things for me. It helped me it created that feedback loop where I knew what the effect of my eating decisions would be. I never had a sense of how many fewer calories do I have to eat to actually lose some weight tomorrow. There's, you know, so many temptations throughout the day. How many of them do I have to say no to for it to matter? And without really, you know, being locked into where that spot is, it's a lot harder, at least for me, to have the motivation. But if I know, well, if I avoid this and this and I can still have that and then that, and I know that that's going to be a winning formula, it's a lot easier to do it than to be like, it probably won't matter anyway. I'll just have this bag of chips. I know it's going to matter. If those chips are the 3 points, that's the difference between me being over and under the number, then I know it matters, and it's easier for me to go, I don't need the chips. Now the other thing, and this, I mean, it's related, is because you're tracking every single thing that you eat and you're using an allocation of points that's limited, it just makes you more selective about your eating decisions. It forces you to actually think about, well, I've got to take care of hunger. That's what I need to use these points for. And if I spend 15 points on a candy bar, well, I'm going to be starving all day. That's not a win. And if the big thing for me is realizing that I didn't have to eat nearly as much as I thought I did in order to get full. And, I know I've read that, like, it takes 20 or 30 minutes after you eat for kind of that sensation of fullness to register in your body. So it's very easy to keep eating through that period, and then suddenly you realize that, wow, you're extremely full and you're about to slip into a food coma. But if I've got 20 points allocated for the sandwich that I'm having, and I eat half the sandwich, and then I think, wow, if I don't eat the other half of the sandwich, I've got 10 points I can use later. Maybe I don't need to eat the other half of the sandwich. Maybe I'll wait 20 minutes and see if I really need it. And my God, more often than not, you don't really need it. That was amazing. So I'm really grateful to Weight Watchers for helping me find that spot of, how much I can eat and still be able to lose a little weight. And also for helping me recognize that I don't need to eat as much as I thought. Those are two huge insights for me. Now, the third secret for me to lose the 35 pounds has been chicken soup. I can't remember how I got started on that in the first place. I think maybe somebody was sick and we made some chicken soup. But I started making my mom's chicken soup recipe and just adding, I don't know, maybe I did it, So one of the things about the Weight Watchers system is that just a year or two ago, they totally revamped how they calculate the points. And they added, so it's not purely based on what I said before, the carbs, the fat, the protein, and the fiber. It is if you just do use their calculator to put in those things. But for fruits and vegetables, for example, they are 0 points. All fruits and vegetables are 0 points. Like that 4-hour body thing I was doing, you couldn't eat fruit, no fruit at all because of the sugar. The Weight Watchers people are like, you're not going to get fat eating fruits and vegetables. Make them 0 points. So because if eating an apple is 2 points, I'm like never going to eat an apple. But if eating an apple is 0 points, every day when I'm hungry, I'm going to eat an apple, and that's how I'm going to get from lunch to dinner or whatever. So they make fruit and vegetables 0 points, and they actually make alcohol. They charge more points for alcohol than the caloric content would warrant, because they figured that if you're drinking, you're more likely to eat other things more and probably not track them, or even if you do, you're just more likely to lose your discipline and make some bad eating decisions. So the thing about the chicken soup is that the only thing that counts as points in there is the chicken. Everything else is 0. And so I started trying to make this soup like, how many vegetables can I fit into this pot of soup? And I've never been a big vegetable eater, but the soup with the chicken broth and the dill and the salt and pepper and everything, it's a really easy way to get your vegetables down. So I would start, it's really not chicken soup. It's more like big pot of vegetables with a little broth and a little chicken is the concoction I started making, and pretty much making one pot every weekend and then having that for lunch as many days as I could. It's like a 3-point lunch. So that really has been my secret weapon, chicken soup for sure. Doing a little more cooking at home, definitely. Now, I didn't talk about exercise. That's one, most of the first like 25 pounds, I really wasn't exercising at all. This year, I've been trying to be better about exercise. We have an elliptical at home, so I've got, I'll do a half hour on there, or I do kettlebell swings, which is a really, really efficient exercise. Do 3 sets of 15 kettlebell swings, takes like 10 minutes, and it works like every muscle in your body, and when you're done, and I can feel it for 2 or 3 days afterwards. On my exercise, I don't have the same kind of commitment to routine that Jennifer does. It's just so funny. This I don't have. This is not a tip. This is a confession. I can get going. I can exercise so many days in a row. Like I can miss one day. I can do 5 to 6 days a week. In what is this, April? Like in March, I probably there were 3 weeks in a row, maybe in March, where I exercised like 4 or 5 days, maybe even 6 each week. And then I miss a couple, and I haven't exercised in a month or whatever. Now that 3 weeks is probably the longest stretch I've had since I was in high school and trying to work out for the football team. Usually it's more like a week or a week and a half. But it's like I'll get into the rhythm, and I'll be like, yeah, working out every day, no problem. And then I just don't do it for a couple days, and then I'm like, I don't ever want to do it again. But I know that I'm gonna need to do that to lose this next 20 pounds, and I also know that I feel better the rest of the day. When I get up, that's not the first thing that I want to do is exercise. The first thing I want to do is not get up. And it's just so hard for it to happen later in the day after work. If I'm going to exercise, it's got to be in the morning. But I'm hoping I can get back in that routine, keep eating a lot of chicken soup, and hopefully make it down to 210 and lose this last 20 pounds, which is my goal. Didn't get it done by the beginning of golf season, but hope maybe by the middle or hopefully by the end. That's my goal. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'd love to hear your weight loss tips. Have you tried Weight Watchers? Have you tried the 4-Hour Body? What are your favorite things to make that make you full but don't make you fat? I love to hear the comments. I think, so I'm in my parents' basement here, and I've got the window behind me. I think this light's going to be okay. Jennifer said natural light coming at me with no other natural light is the best way to do it. But I just can't tell on the camera. I can't tell if the lighting looks good or not. It just never looks good on the small screen. I guess maybe that means I haven't ever found good lighting yet. But we're working on it. Hope you guys like the morning hair. Please leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.